am Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui Podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor, and from myself and Ash Ketchum, I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this month's edition of Moana Nui After Dark presents Geek Speak On Sports, our March edition show. I'm James, bringing in the rest of our panelists, Joy and Furious. How are you all doing this evening?
Doing well. I just realized you have emotions with you, Joy and Furious.
Which probably adequately describe each of our emotional states.
Yeah, I say that is spot on.
Pretty much, yeah. Probably more furious than Joy for some of us, depending on what happened in the last month or so of sports.
Just the last couple of days.
I mean, yeah.
For me specifically, just the last couple of days.
I mean, I understand. I do understand. So free agency in football is pretty much been a doozy, even though the official signing period wasn't until today at 4:00. The legal tampering period, if you will, began Sunday.
I wish they would call it something else.
I mean, because technically it is tampering, but you're allowed to.
They can call it fixing. Same connotation.
I mean, you don't want the negative connotation of, just outright debauchery that everyone is basically doing anyway. So
pretty much.
All right. So let's start with some basketball news. The women's tournaments for their respective conferences.
Oh, that was great. It was great.
Ended Sunday.
It was great.
And March Madness is right around the corner. Men's tournament first round games are currently going on right now. Big Ten, Big East, ACC, whatever. But we don't care about the men's tournaments. We really don't. And as much as I like to say we care about men's college basketball, I'd be lying. Mm-hmm. We are more interested in what the women are going to be up to. The big news was the fight that broke out in the women's SEC title game between LSU and South Carolina. It was interesting to say the least. The brother of one of the players jumped the scorer's table, ended up on the court. He was escorted away by security. He did not touch anyone. He did not put his hands on anyone. Can't say it was actually.
He was Johnson. He's Johnson's brother.
Yes.
I don't believe she was the one who was first name. I'm sorry.
She was the one who was pushed to the floor. So yeah, it wasn't necessarily a fight per se in the actual sense of, blows were thrown. People were shoved to the ground. There was a lot of jarring and woofing and hollering in each other's face.
Did they say why it started?
It started because South Carolina was pretty much up almost 10 points. They stole the ball from an LSU player who reached out and made an intentional foul to stop a fast break, easy two. Timeout was called by the officials, and as the teams were going to their respective benches, the LSU player who committed the foul
started some shit.
She didn't start anything. She was walking to her bench in frustration. South Carolina player bumped her. Another one yelled in her face like, yeah, emoting joy and excitement like we're about to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And she pushed her to the ground.
No.
Another LSU player came over and pushed that South Carolina player to the ground.
Well, James, it was a bit more than a bump. It was not a bump.
She tightened checked that chick. She showed us
as they were passing each other.
Yeah.
The player who committed the foul pushed her. She didn't bump her.
Like a chest pass push.
She pushed her. Let's make sure we get that right, because
it looked more like shoulders hitting each other. She didn't actually push her on the
No, she pushed. Now,
the player who got pushed to the floor got pushed. Yes.
No. As they were walking past, now we can debate how hard she pushed her, but she put her hands and pushed into that woman, as they were passing each other. And then the South Carolina enforcer came and did her job.
LSU enforcer, you mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. The LSU enforcer did her job and put that little 6'1", 6'2" guard on her ass.
Yeah, South Carolina. Whoever, I'm mixing the teams up, but yes, that and the commentary afterwards from the coaches was polarizing, to say the least.
Yeah.
Dawn Staley, coach of South Carolina, pretty much owned up to it for her team.
Ooh,
apologized.
Before we get to that, do we think the punishment was appropriate? Because Joy, I don't know if you saw it or not, but what happened, the punishment, I should say, was everybody got ejected except for 5 players from each team, and they finished out the game in a 5-on-5 fashion. So the ones who did the shoving, the ones who were doing the pushing, all the players who came off the bench were all ejected, and it was just 5-on-5 for the rest of the game. Now,
I thought it was 6 total players. I thought it was only 6 total because they just said not a lot of players left the bench. I didn't know everybody left the bench.
Well, the thing that I heard was, because I didn't get to see it because I wasn't near a TV. But as I'm reading it, they were saying it ended up being 5-on-5 because everybody else got ejected.
Yeah, the officials, because they have the video of the official, stating who was getting what fouls.
Right.
How isn't it always 5-on-5?
It is, and I think she said that it was going to just carry out as 5-on-5. She didn't say that everybody was being ejected.
Everybody got ejected.
In total, no. I'm saying the video I saw, because they had the referee at the scorer's table speaking, and they had that audio. Everybody was not ejected.
Hold on, let me.
Candaysee, welcome.
What up?
Candaysee, were you actually watching the women's SEC championship game?
I was not watching it, no.
Because we're having a slight disagreement between James and I as to whether or not everybody except the 10 players on the court got ejected. Do you remember the specifics of who got ejected?
So LSU, everybody got ejected except the start, whoever was on the court, the 5. That's what I read.
Okay.
Thank you. But yeah, so and I only asked that because James, we were about to go to the coach's post-game interview, but I brought up the question if the punishment was appropriate for what happened.
Absolutely. So now some of the players for both squads are going to be suspended 1 game.
Yeah.
For the opening round of the women's tournament.
So I think this punishment is appropriate because if I'm hearing it all correctly, if I'm understanding, the 2 women on the court that were in that interaction, walked away from each other. Totally fine. And then one of South Carolina, is that who it was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of South Carolina's people come in there like, yeah. And then one of the LSU people who was also not involved came and pushed. This is when keeping it real goes wrong. Like your friends have come off the bench and got your back, and now they got everybody put out the building. And you better be lucky you healthy because you got to carry this game to the end. With different emotions, nobody cheering and all that kind of stuff. So, don't let your friends get you in trouble. The 2 people involved on the court at the time left like adults. And then you got your friends over here, like I said, starting some shit. So, yeah. And then everybody came off the bench is, fruit of the poison tree at that point. Yeah. So everybody got to go.
Pretty much, yeah.
You could have sat on the bench like, ooh.
Yeah. as well as the brother that came out of the stands to defend his sister.
Yeah, he went to jail.
Yeah.
Because that's assault at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the moment he stepped on the court, he was going to jail.
Up for the team. You're not on the team, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Dawn Staley handled it with grace and poise. She took ownership for South Carolina's part in it. She apologized for everything, for their part and what happened and everything. Kim Mulkey, unfortunately, who stays putting her foot in her mouth for all the wrong reasons, was like, there's no reason for your 6'8" player to push our 6'1" player to the floor. She should come over to Angel Reese and try that, push her. Like, I get it. but you're the coach. You should have a better response than try it out with someone your own size type. You're supposed to diffuse this, not egg it on.
Right.
But I get.
Although I will say she was acting on type. Like that's the kind of rhetoric I would expect from a male coach.
Yeah.
Not arguing that at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, considering Moki's history as far as what she said in the past, that's probably not what she wanted to say.
No, that's what she wanted to say.
No, she wanted to say it. Let me backtrack. Probably not what she should have said. Yeah.
That was the edited version of what she probably wanted to say.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was my basketball story leading into March Madness. The selection show is Sunday, I believe, for both men and women's tournaments. So the women get to chill for a couple of days. Does anybody else have anything basketball related they would like to cover before we move into NFL shenanigans? Nothing. All right. Well, NFL. Since the last time we talked, there was a major football game that was played, and unless you're a fan of the 49ers, no one really has anything to complain about. So Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. The 49ers love scapegoating. I will say that. Because they fired their defensive coordinator literally 2 days after the game after saying they weren't going to fire anybody because they were happy with their coaching staff. Yeah. And if you're thinking, does race have something to do with it? I'm going to go out and say yes, considering the head coach is white and the defense coordinator is black. And it was the head coach whose specialty is offense that failed to generate points in that game. So,
as much as it pains me to bring this up, that particular head coach also has another Super Bowl failure under his belt.
I ain't bringing it up. I ain't mentioning it.
I'm like, and even in that, he scapegoated the defense.
I mean, that is fair. But Qiana, you were in Vegas that week. How was it out there?
What would you like to hear about first? Anything in particular?
What's the wild stuff?
Yeah,
whatever you care to share.
One of the funniest things, and let me get it all out. Yes, Dallas, I guess, is still America's team. I did not expect to see them in the numbers that I saw them. I get it. They have fans everywhere. I'm telling y'all, these were people who bought tickets ahead of time, thinking these people was going to win.
No.
And then they said, the hell with it. I'm going to just go to Vegas. There was this man standing on the strip, waving a Cowboys flag, backcourt, screaming, "Go Cowboys!" My drunk ass. I said, "Go well." What you doing? I had to run. So I didn't quite understand that. It literally made no sense. Detroit was out there mad deep. That was funny.
Already had to,
but I loved it. I love the camaraderie, this and that or whatever, and that was cool. And then I mean, of course, the West Coast team. There was tons of Seattle's fans out there. 49ers fan base is utterly annoying and was getting on my nerves. One of my homeboys, he's a part of it. He was like, "You know how we are." Vegas will definitely get another Super Bowl. I would give them a solid B. They got to clean up some stuff, but the price gouging.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I knew, y'all, but $25 for a bottle of Fiji water.
Whoa.
Shouldn't they be against the law? Like, I'm not even joking right now. I'm dead serious. Serious. Stuff like that.
Wow.
Joy, close your mouth.
This is like a 5,000 markup.
Yeah.
The gentleman who was in line in front of me, he was a brother. I said, let me back up because I don't
and this
know.
was at the stadium?
Might lose it. So, you walking through the hotels and you just want to grab like a bottle of water. And they knew that. They were counting on people to be drunk and I'm thirsty and I'm just gonna pay for anything. And so the lady rang up the bottle of water. And so he said, "What did you just say?"
I just
He's
dehydrate.
like, you know
I'm
what?
sorry.
Put that back down and got up on out of there. I mean, great time. Like I said, I think it's a great place to host the event. It was just really interesting to me to see what fan groups were out there and everything. And then the day of the game, I don't know how y'all felt about the game. I'm like, is this the new Patriots? Is this where we're going with this now?
Yeah, as long as
Okay.
Pat Mahomes is the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs and they can, keep doing what they're doing on offense and not have to, keep drafting well on defense, because they have drafted quite well on defense.
They have. And I mean, I give them that, not to knock anything, but I mean, at one point, they were losing that game. I don't know where San Francisco went. The play calling became very predictable. Like, we were all sitting there at the joint, just kind of like, what is going on right now? Are they throwing it? Rookie mistakes, silly things just going on. But I don't know, is that a pattern for San Fran? I'm not really sure.
Yes,
Okay.
San Fran. So this is the opposite of what they did in their 2 NFC playoff games. Against Green Bay and Detroit. They went down double digits by halftime. They were down 10 points against Green Bay, and in the NFC title game, they were down 14 or 17 points at halftime and came back and won both games. So their offense was sputtering all throughout the playoffs. The fact that, the halftime score was 10-3 or something like that. And they came out the first 3 drives after halftime and went 3 and out all 3 times. And granted, part of that's on them. Part of that is the adjustments Spagnuolo made, because I lived through it last year. KC did the same thing to us. We came out in the second half last year and we looked flat. Call it the long, halftime show, which is longer than a normal halftime of a game. That delay, just being out of sorts, not finding the rhythm quick enough. But yeah, Spags made adjustments. Defense got to it. Chris Jones, no one's going to convince me, Chris Jones could have made a case for him to be MVP, because he destroyed Frisco's O-line in the entire second half. Outside of running with McCaffrey, they could get nothing passing.
So. And Brock Purdy just imploded. Bless his heart.
It's kind of hard to play quarterback.
His face. I have empathy for people. I kind of started putting myself in his, not necessarily in his shoes. I was just like, can y'all take the camera out that man's face?
Nah.
Please.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Got to show it, because he got the hype all season, because 7th round draft pick and playing well at times of the season in MVP level. And look, the talking heads and media pundits will have you believe that Brock Purdy, is going to deserve, and granted, yes, he will deserve whatever big payday is due him when his rookie deal is up at the end of this coming season. But no one has actually had to see him play through true adversity until this Super Bowl. Pressure constantly in his face because of the quick rhythm and timing. And like I said, the combination of Chris Jones and those cornerbacks of KC, because they rerouted all of Frisco's wide receivers. They got no free releases. There were hands on them, within the 5-yard bump zone, and they couldn't run, those deep ends and quick cut plays that they normally like to run to get Deebo Samuel open. Not to mention a lot of their offensive stars for Frisco left the game for long periods of time with injuries, from Kittle, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, all left the game at one point with an injury. So that didn't help either.
No, not at all. So good times. Came back broke.
Came back broke.
Broke and woke. And no, like I said, I think Vegas will definitely get another Super Bowl probably sooner or later. It is a great environment. You can't ask for more, but to be honest with y'all as well, I'm sure you could probably tell that there's just way too much stuff going on out there at one time. They're going to tear down the Tropicana Hotel, and that's where I guess the Las Vegas A's will be.
Yeah,
because they got the Oakland A's. So all of that on the Strip is just, it's not a good look. traffic wise. Just I don't know who they just didn't think that out very well logistical wise. So yeah,
which is weird because they had the Vegas Grand Prix back in November, and I was there last year Memorial Day, and they were literally getting ready for that event 8 months later, as far as where they were going to cordon off the strip, because part of the strip was the raceway.
Right.
So I'm like, you had the Vegas Grand Prix, which looked excellent on TV. How could you not handle traffic for the Super Bowl?
That ain't the same.
I mean, I get it. It's more. It's definitely more
Grand
people.
Prix, that was a flop. They love to talk about that. I was just like, so that was a complete and utter flop. I don't know. Like, again, on the other end, just thinking about logistics and stuff wise, I mean, just the cars were literally just sitting there. Like, you'll see those pictures of the freeway in LA during the holidays, and all you see is red lights. Like, nobody was moving. Nobody was moving anything at all. I didn't care. I didn't have a car. I got my steps in. So I'm like, at that point, I wasn't even trying to get in the Uber. You might as well just walk to where you need to go. You know, because sitting in this car for 3 hours and you're not moving at all, that makes no sense.
I could have walked to the restaurant and ate and came back and got back in the Uber.
Exactly. But I feel like they had enough to do for everybody. Like if you were a diehard football fan, and I mean the NFL experience comes with Super Bowls. I've been to that before. So if you're a diehard football fan, that was great to get in there and enjoy that. But the lines, like, you know, to look at the previous Super Bowl rings, those lines were like 2 hours long, and it was just like, God, y'all can't control nothing up in here. But funny thing, I did notice that in the NFL shop, in the NFL experience, there was a lot more items for women than I've ever seen at any Super Bowl NFL experience before. And I know this may sound silly to some people, but like it was stuff that women would actually wear. I'm talking about the cut, the fit. Now the prices was off the chain, but you know, it looked cute, but then I put it back on the hanger.
Right. I mean, if water was $25, I could only imagine what this cost.
It sounds like they finally actually went to some women to help design the gear. Yes, you are correct. You can just tell, you know, you can't just be bedazzling everything and then charging $150 for it. So just like, I'm not buying that. But little things like that, I was really noticing, because the last time I went to the NFL experience was when Houston had the Super Bowl. So I was just really trying to notice the difference there. But I mean, good times. Will I be in Vegas for a week ever again? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was disappointed in that game. That game just but it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay. Well, again, the legal tampering period did start this past Sunday, and official signings could take place as of 4 p.m. today, if not tomorrow. I may have my days mixed up.
No, it's today.
Today? Okay. So it was today. Signings became official. Any signings, acquisitions for your respective teams, ladies and gent, that bother you, perplex you, make you question?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I think I'm gonna just throw a joke out there, and I'm gonna let Furious have, because I know I know he is utterly pissed off to the highest level of pissed. I just so happened to see your Facebook post, but I just want to tell y'all what just had me hollering, and I love Black people. Somebody was like, yeah, I heard that the Cowboys was drafting Cat Williams. That I hollered, I cackled, I reveled in it, and I enjoyed that.
That's a good one.
So that's my 2 cents. I really do, but I really would love to hear what you have to say, Furious, just about the
obvious.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Furious. Oh my
God. These motherfuckers signed a 35-year-old quarterback who will be 36 at the start of the season.
He's already a grandfather.
and I know James is going to fight me on these numbers, but I'm going to read them as they are. 4 years, $180 million for a 36-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles heel injury. Now, I've never played professional sports. I don't know what type of rehab they have. I don't know what access or what advanced medical research they have access to. This motherfucker is 36 years old. And y'all gave him 4 years and $180 million. We could have had Russell Wilson, who wins us the division right now. We could have signed Justin Fields, who, in my opinion, with better coaching, would be a better quarterback. We could have traded up in the draft for any of the top quarterbacks that are coming out this year. But what do? We give a fossil $180 million.
Joy, what did you say? He got grandfathered in as a grandfather?
I said he's already a grandfather. In football years, he is a grandfather.
Right. Because anytime you hear people talk about players, it's the right or wrong side of 30.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
And again, he's 35 right now, but at the start of the season, he'll be 36.
That's damn near 40.
My thing is this.
And he's not good enough to never retire like some people wanted to do. Right. He ain't in that league, so
right.
Lay down.
But somebody ran the numbers, and over his entire career, he has earned somewhere in the neighborhood of like $700 million.
Mm-hmm.
For a quarterback with one playoff win in 13 years.
Damn.
One.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had Russell Wilson. He won a Super Bowl.
Look.
He could be a great mentor to the quarterback we still have on a rookie deal who needs some help.
That's a good point. I mean, it's moot, but it's a good point.
What was the strategy? What was the thinking process behind this decision? Period.
Everything I've heard, everything I've been hearing and reading, everybody is saying that Cousins is a great processor and he makes good decisions. How good of a decision has he made if he's only won one playoff game in 13 years?
Yikes.
He's only been to 4 playoff games.
Somebody else made the argument of when that came up, well, the Falcons hadn't been to the playoffs in 6 years. And I was like, okay, that's fair because we haven't. We have.
Right, but if you're looking for a change, you want how many playoff games?
But still,
has that man been to?
Trying to get Russell Wilson, isn't that like shooting your shot at the cheerleading captain? Like
all the reports are saying he's going to be the backup in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Russell
wait. So yes and no.
Okay, go ahead, James.
Mike Tomlin hasn't said it yet outright, but when camps start, there is basically wide belief from the talking heads around sports talk nationally who believe, and I don't doubt this at all, that at some point Mike Tomlin, coach of the Steelers, will get up to that podium and say there's an open competition for quarterback in Pittsburgh. Now, because of their loyalty to a fault, which doomed them last year because they waited too long to fire the offensive coordinator and Kenny Pickett's ineptitude to throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield, things didn't work out, right? So Pickett, because they're loyal to him since they drafted him, will go in as a starter with Russell as the backup. But as camp progresses on, there will definitely be a clear-cut competition. And if Pickett starts the season, I will say somewhere between weeks 3 and 6, if he doesn't play at a high level, not a good level, a high level, he will be benched for Russell Wilson because that defense is literally one of the best units in all of football. And you ain't going to waste the defense.
We'd have made him starter day one.
That is fair.
Sierra, come on back home.
We'd have had him and Sierra at Magic City with strippers and lemon pepper wings.
So once again, I'm going to ask, are we sure that they didn't try for Russell Wilson and just got rejected?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so you say we could have had Russell Wilson is like, the dude in the club, like, man, I could have got her number. Like, maybe you couldn't. Maybe you ain't never had a shot.
Do you think Russell would have wanted to come to Atlanta?
That part.
That's
because even Sierra don't come back.
God damn.
Jeez, Joy.
Well, Joy, all the rumors that we were hearing centered around the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, the Falcons and Russ, or the Falcons trading for crap. Now I forgot his fucking name right now. So mad. Justin Fields. Yeah. But again, they're all rumors, as we'll never really know who they truly went after.
Right.
At least until each of those quarterbacks retires and does their memoirs, then we'll find out.
Yep.
Maybe.
I missed my whole mouth.
But yeah, I am, and I am not happy about this, but everybody else seems to be so enamored with this Kirk Cousins signing, and he's the next. Oh, and that was the other thing, and they're like, he's the next coming of Matt Ryan, and I'm like, oh God.
But wait, time out. But you had Matt Ryan at 36 years old, and he couldn't play. He's the next coming of Matt Ryan, and he's already 36, coming off an Achilles.
There you go. So
I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I'm making sense.
I don't understand when people saying these things out loud. Do they hear themselves? Maybe it's just hope. And somebody told me a long time ago, hope is a dangerous thing.
Hope is a demon.
You have to go with reality.
I've called into the local sports station, radio station here a bunch of times, and I will die on this hill. This man is not going to last 2 years of this contract.
Well, that's the sad part, because 100 million of that 180 is fully guaranteed, and it's over 3 years. So he's getting 90 in the first 2, guaranteed 10 in the third, which is probably when they'll cut him, because 10 million against the cap is nothing.
Right. Again,
and number by me one more time. I'm sorry. What?
The guaranteed money is 100 million over 3 years. He'll make 90 in the first 2.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Regardless of what happens to him, he's making 90 millions over the course of the next 2 seasons. In the third season of the contract, he will make 10 million guaranteed.
You reach out to their camp and see if they're interested in the interracial throuple, or they need a third over there with their relationship. That is absolutely ridiculous.
The other thing that people have been talking about is, let's hope we don't have another Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers played what, James? Did he even make it one? It was what, fourth quarter?
4 snaps.
Yeah, 4 snaps.
It was that much?
Aaron Rodgers played 4 snaps for the Jets last year before he ruptured his Achilles.
Yep. The same injury our new $100 million quarterback is just coming back from.
So we getting the after picture of the Achilles. Wow. Yeah. Well, just go ahead and root for Atlanta United, because this is over for you.
Absolutely. And the thing that gets me is, I have been telling people left and right, in 2 years, we will be right back in the same situation we're in right now, looking for a starting quarterback.
Well, at that point, you hope that Desmond Ridder has learned enough under Kirk Cousins to be your starter. Yeah. But I don't know when Ridder's contract is up.
This is going into his 4th year, and nothing has been announced as to whether or not they're picking up his 5th year option.
Yeah, because that's the talk now. A lot of these star players who are on rookie deals and their 5th year options. Yeah. Candaysee, I don't know if you've been paying attention to your Bills, but y'all pretty much jettisoned half your defense.
I was just waiting for Mac to stop ranting and raving so I could rant and rave.
Which is why I just called you in here for that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to rant and rave as bad as Mac. I'm just going to be like.
Look, in his defense, no team with Kirk Cousins has ever reached a Super Bowl. So.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I just looked it up. This is going into his 3rd year, not his 4th year. Sorry.
All right. Go ahead, Candaysee.
No, it's okay. We did. And then we Gabe Davis is that in Jacksonville.
Yes.
One of
take
our
the place of Calvin Ridley.
right, one of our, one of
Best
our
wide
many
receivers.
receivers that are
Mhm.
just pretty awesome. I don't know. But anyway, point of the matter is, yeah, we're gonna have to see what this defense is looking like. Yeah, no Poyer, no Hyde, nobody.
No Tre'Davious White.
We're not look. I think, well, half of our defense was hurt last year, and then
It was.
the other half got hurt when the first half came back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what moves they make. Let's see if they draft any new babies or something like that. That's gonna, and hopefully Von Miller will maybe do something. I don't know. We'll see.
Aside from go to jail.
Right. That's why I said we'll have to see.
Oh no.
What's gonna
Know
happen.
what, Qiana?
Oh no.
There was real talk that he may do jail time. What do you mean? No.
Truth. It's the truth.
Oh, I'm not. I have second, third, fourth, fifth hand embarrassment for that man. Like, why?
Look, I don't know how or why he got in the situation he is in right now, but he's in it, and there is talk of him actually serving real jail time. So, I mean,
A third-degree felony, which is punishable by 2 to 10 years. Between 2 and 10 years.
He'll probably do 2.
I mean, his career is practically over anyway. He's on the downside of his career.
Yeah. It's
He's
already over.
He's basically just a third down rush specialist when you know the opposition is going to be throwing the ball deep, and then you send him out there to try to get the quarterback. That's it.
You mean you wouldn't re-sign him for $100 million?
No. No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Okay.
We are not the Falcons.
Oh my. Pew, pew.
I mean, he started it, so
He did.
he chose violence. Look, I am. I was confused by what the Eagles were going to do or have done. I understand Jason Kelce is done. He retired. 3 days later, Fletcher Cox retired. And then the first day of the tampering period, we signed Saquon Barkley.
Have you heard the latest about your signing of Saquon Barkley?
As far as Tiki Barber running his mouth and saying stupid stuff?
No, not that part. The thing I heard today on the radio coming home was that the Eagles may have violated the legal tampering.
No, because the source of that is Barkley's coach at Penn State.
Okay.
And he's probably just looking for a headline. I don't believe it. I hope. I'm not going to say I hope. I flat out just don't believe it because the Eagles and violating rules is not something they have done under this current regime of ownership and this management team. So it's a story to get people talking because Giants fans are highly pissed off that Saquon signed with the Eagles. He has caught tons of backlash from New York, but my thing is this is a dude who has literally done any and everything to try to stay with the Giants as far as coming to terms with a long-term deal. And he tried to do it last year and he signed to the franchise tag, which he did not want to play on, but he still showed up anyway and played on the franchise tag, hoping he would get a longer-term deal. And they were not going to budge. And I get that he has injury history. Fair. But this is literally the best player on your offense. And between him and a quarterback who we all know can't play, you chose the quarterback who can't play over him. So here you are. Giants fans, don't be mad at Saquon. Be mad at your general manager and ownership. This is their fault. They basically spat in this man's face and said, we don't need you. The best player on your offense in about 8 years. Yeah. So, Qiana, anything the Saints doing to make headlines? Or they just out there twiddling their thumbs?
Out there second line and ain't doing shit.
Well, I mean, they let the best quarterback in the league go.
Yes, Jameis Winston did sign with the Cleveland Browns.
Congratulations. They can join the support group.
I'm sorry. I was looking forward to us playing y'all and somebody getting some payback on that asshole this upcoming season.
Oh my gosh.
It's just gonna be another mediocre ass season. Carr probably get hurt. We need
who's gonna play?
Yeah. We need a coach. Makes no sense to me, but hey, who am I? Just somebody who continues to support my sorry little team. I love them. But again, it's an abusive relationship, so we'll see how it goes this time around. I got them 10 visits with my EAP. So it's
Qiana, do you think it's fair to say we are about to be the worst division in football again this year?
Absolutely.
The Buccaneers are going to win your division
listening
again.
to Baker Mayfield's deal with Tampa Bay, and then I don't know. They're just like, yeah, Tampa Bay is going to win the division. I mean, is that the flex you think it is? I mean, I spent probably about an hour and a half. I watched Get Up. I watched Sports Center on Monday, and they were just going on and on about Baker Mayfield. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they need to have a day on these shows where just people like us just go and sit in and really just give some effective commentary, because not to piggyback on Russ, but I mean, they were talking about him like, this is it. He better do something. Like, he was just absolute trash. And I'm just like, I mean, I know he hasn't done what he's done before, but I mean, goddamn, like, chill out, calm down, come in with a different perspective. It's they all like talk to each other to see who's the smartest person in the room, and nobody is winning. Stick to the game.
I'm gonna use that.
Nobody is winning.
And
Y'all
Qiana,
who's the smartest person in the room, and nobody is winning.
nobody. And Qiana, here's the kicker about them dogging Russ. You pull up the stats for quarterbacks last year. Russ finished in the top 10 in every statistical category that is important for a quarterback: yards, completion percentage, quarterback rating, touchdowns, touchdown interception ratio.
So
all
why
of it.
is it that you think people are so hard on him?
The one criticism that
Qiana
keeps
knows.
coming out.
Qiana knows. It's the coach.
It's the coach. I mean, Sean Payton completely screwed him over. He tried to what worked with Drew Brees, you know, and I'm not gonna knock Drew Brees. He is a humanitarian, got a good heart, all of that, blah blah blah. But when it came to Russ and his efforts and what he was doing, stop kissing babies, and where are your PR people? He just was talking out of his ass and just saying the most ridiculous things. And it's almost like, I'm Batman and you're Robin, and you're going to do what I tell you to do, and I'm going to shine. I'm the one. I'm the catch in this relationship. I was like, Sean Payton.
But Qiana, there's a reason for that. When Sean Payton got there, he didn't want Russell Wilson.
Right.
And he did literally any and everything possible to undermine Russell Wilson to get him out of there. So they tried to get him to take remove the injury clause from his contract back in October. He said no. They said, fine, at some point in the season, we're going to bench you. Whatever, I'll keep playing as best as I can. If you watch Broncos games last year, anytime Russ threw the ball away on third down, when he's coming off the sideline, there's Sean Payton in his face, screaming to the high heavens, calling him an idiot, stupid. What are you looking at? Why didn't you hit this guy? Whatever. And Russ is standing there stoically taking it, because if Russ had fired back in any way whatsoever, they could have voided his contract for conduct detrimental to the team, because they're trying to get out of the $80 million they owe him for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Fully guaranteed that they're on the hook for. Now, Furious mentioned earlier he signed with Pittsburgh. He signed with Pittsburgh for the league minimum, $1.2 million.
Right.
That's all Pittsburgh has to play. The balance of the $38 million that he is still owed, so that's what, $36.8 million that he's still owed comes from Denver, and it's on their books for their salary this season. And that's a 1-year deal Russ signed. So wherever he signs next year, the rest of that money that wherever he signs, they pay him the league minimum again, 1.2, 1.3 million, and the balance of that remaining 40 plus comes from Denver.
Stupid.
And that's what they were trying to get out of.
What'd you say?
Said Denver's paying alimony.
Yes.
I don't care if I got a job. You're going to pay this child support.
And they were trying to get out of it any way possible. And everything they tried to do to screw Russell to get out of paying him that guaranteed money didn't work. And now it's blown up in their face. Yeah. So they have no quarterback, no top 10 pick to get a quarterback, a crappy roster. They've already cut one of their best wide receivers, no defense whatsoever because it looked like ass last year. And Sean Payton's still the head coach.
Yeah. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah. So I need everybody in Atlanta to call Sierra and start pressuring her to get Russell to sign with us next year when his 1-year deal with Denver is up.
That lady trying to rest up so she could get pregnant again. I'm not mad at her.
Atlanta people, make this your mission.
She is trying to rest up and get right.
You are hoping against hope, sir. You are on the hook for $90 million for the next 2 seasons.
And the other thing that I keep hearing people say is everybody likes to say, well, Russell's weird. And that's a part of me that's like, I don't give a good goddamn if he is weird. If the man can win football game,
bring your weird ass to Atlanta.
I hope nobody in Atlanta was calling Russell weird.
No.
Right. What is it to be weird in Atlanta? What do you have to do?
No. These are former teammates of his.
That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't have been weird here because there's a high threshold.
Right.
What we haven't seen on an average Wednesday night.
What does that weird mean? I want to know what that means.
And that's just it.
Nobody nice guy and gentlemanly.
Right. So the weird thing is from, and Bomani Jones was on the show a couple of weeks ago talking to somebody about this, that he was mocking Denver when he said it, but he said something to the effect that nobody told Denver that Russ was a prima donna and this kind of standoffish type personality, weird, eccentric type of whatever. It was like, oh, you mean like every defensive player that played with him in Seattle when they went to those 2 Super Bowls?
I'm very confused. If y'all have the opportunity, watch Russell Wilson's talk with Brandon Marshall on YouTube.
Yeah,
great interview, and I love the way he talked about his confidence, not arrogance, his confidence in what he does. And I don't know. I just feel like people who are comfortable with who they are get so much backlash. Yep. He's also very unbothered. Does it probably piss him off here and there? Absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, he knows because what his intent is and because he's a good person. He's like, listen, F you pay me. He ain't saying that.
Very much so. And Qiana, that's the thing that pisses people off, that he is unbothered by the outside noise. He is comfortable in his own skin, and that's what's rubbing people the wrong way. Is like, why can't we antagonize you in any way to give us what we want? Yeah. And he's like, nah.
That man has a beautiful family to go home to every day. Why should he care what people say?
And they're poor, broke dudes on the internet every day. Russ is a cornball. Russ is this. Guess what? I want to be a cornball like Russ.
I'd like a simp.
Right, to have a bucket of money.
Like to order one, please.
Yeah, have a bucket of money and throw it on the bed and make love to Sierra. Like, what's cornball about that?
Haters.
Touchdown.
On the field. And
that part, Joy. That part. That part. Right there, Joy. That part.
All right, so let's get to the whole theme of this show before we burn up any more time with nonsensical football BS.
Oh, darn.
Our sports movie tournament. So this came about because I had an idea of trying to put together tournament style bracket of some of the, not necessarily our favorite, but some other folks. And I polled people through my Facebook posts or whatever, people's favorite and or best sports films, broken down into 4 categories: football, basketball, baseball, and then any other sports film that you want to throw up in there. Qiana, did you want to say something? Okay. So let me pull this up. And you all can see the movies that made the final four in each category.
All right.
All right. So on the football side, the 1-4 matchup is Any Given Sunday versus The Longest Yard. The 2-3 matchup is Remember the Titans versus The Waterboy. On the basketball side below that, we have Love and Basketball versus Space Jam. Above the Rim versus White Men Can't Jump.
I'm so mad at that, James.
Right. Why we couldn't do Above the Rim versus Space Jam?
Hold on. The baseball side is Major League versus The Sandlot.
Major League.
And 42 versus A League of Their Own.
42. We all understand that 42 is coming out on top in that matchup, right?
More than likely. And the random sports is Cool Runnings versus Dodgeball and the Mighty Ducks versus Creed.
Were people high when they did this?
So
what?
Here's how this nonsense played out. Again, I started my post out and I just let any and every. So I hit all four of you up individually, had you DM me. You all voted with movies that were your favorite and/or what you thought were the best. And then I put the post out there, and I took a combination of all the votes. Which movies garnered the most posts, basically? Who posted with the most films? These are how they came out based on the number of times they were mentioned in the comment section. So these are the rankings. These are the rankings. So if you're wondering, wait, why isn't such and such here as far as a football film or a basketball film? Because it didn't receive enough votes. I am still disheartened, and Furious will tell you this. We had this conversation on Sunday. In the basketball side,
you're just gonna be upset about that, James.
I am still upset about it. Yes. So I will say this: the basketball side, Space Jam. I'm surprised it's here actually, because Love and Basketball was by far and away the number one movie mentioned as far as people's favorite and or best basketball movie. Space Jam, Above the Rim, White Man Can't Jump, and Glory Road all tied for second place.
So I think people are voting with like their emotions. Like, oh, it made me laugh. Yeah. Which is fine. But, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. This is why I was struggling. I love and Basketball. I quote the whole damn movie, especially everything that Alfred Woodard had to say. Hilarious as the mama.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, yes, this is a movie. Is this a sports movie, or it just so happens to be a movie with the basketball in it? To me, it's more about their relationship, and I understand, yes, they're both basketball players. But if I'm looking at a movie, to me, that's more hardcore about the actual game, that wouldn't be it.
And to your point, we'd have to take off like a third of this list.
Yeah.
If we went for like games that, things that are technically about the sport,
Right.
Very much so. But yeah, when I put a post out there, I said Space Jam, Above the Rim, White Man Can't Jump, Glory Road, one got to go. And more than half the comments said Glory Road.
Probably because they never saw it.
Or no. A lot of them saw it. And
I don't think I ever saw Glory Road, to be honest.
But yeah, I would vote for that too. For Space Jam.
What?
I love Space Jam. Everybody loves a good cartoon and Michael Jordan.
Right. And it had a great song too. Space Jam.
Cool. Yeah, it had a good soundtrack.
So hold on. I'm gonna pose this question to you. Do you actually think Space Jam is a good movie?
Oh God, here we go again.
Because I had this conversation with Furious on Sunday.
Why does it matter?
I'm just asking. Do you think it is a good basketball movie?
I think it's entertaining.
That part.
I like Pop-Tarts.
I think it is a good, entertaining movie.
I would eat one all the time because it makes me happy. And so you can't judge whether something is good or, aesthetically pleasing or sound plot or whatever. If I like it, because I just like it, because I like junk food sometimes. So let me have my neon green Space Jam. Leave me alone.
Right. I mean, think about the time when it came out. Well, for me, because I was still young.
My freshman year in college is when Space Jam came out.
Right. Oh. Okay. Well, never mind.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
You said think about the time. I just let you know.
I know, but
that was a rhetorical statement.
I'm just saying, like, I was gonna say, think about the time when it came out, but I had to remember that, I might have been younger than most. So I enjoyed it because I like a good cartoon. I like the Looney Tunes. I like, those were the things, but I don't, I wasn't a freshman in college though.
Candaysee you were not that much younger than James and I. Just
right.
I just want you to know, though, I wasn't a freshman in college. I was a freshman in high school. Like, what are you talking about?
Anyway, so good people, here we are. These are your final four in each category. It is up to us to choose amongst this mosh pit.
This is so
film.
strange. This I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Well, this is what we got based on the responses to the post.
Okay.
I gotta say, Any Given Sunday. It gave us Willie Beeman.
Yep, Any Given Sunday.
I gotta go with Any Given Sunday because it was raw, it was hardcore, it was the relationship about the game. Cameron Diaz, like her relationship working as a female in the industry and her rejection of her father. I mean, it just went to so many different places. When that old girl told who is it? Was it Layla Rashawn? Oh, honey, you got to be married for it to count. That took me out. The whole division of the girlfriends and the wives. It was just so much in that movie that I enjoyed.
Hell, some of the behind the scenes stories on that movie are amazing.
Yeah, LL and Will Smith. I mean, not Will Smith. LL and
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx getting into it. Yeah.
Yep. The local hood dude who they had signed on the movie, choke slamming James Brown.
Well, all I'm going to say is that anything with LL Cool J in it is for the win.
Well, that
is a plus one. Mm-hmm.
That works as well. I could have just said that. I'm sorry. What she said.
And the best part is like LL has one of the craziest lines in there where he was basically just trying to get Willie Beeman off the field. Like, coach, he's changing the plays. Oh, you mean audibles? Yeah, everybody does. Yeah. No, coach, he's changing. He's dissing this play. He's calling that play. Nah, I got a better play. He's messing up my flow, coach, because I got to get my bonus.
I can't believe you quoted that whole shit. Outstanding.
It's hilarious. LL was really looking out for himself. Like, coach, he's changing the plays that you call that I like. All right, next matchup. Remember the Titans versus the Waterboy. Would say
Remember
Waterboy.
The Titans.
Oh, Joy.
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
We got.
It's all about football through and through.
Come on now.
When's the last time you watched? If Remember the Titans randomly on, or Waterboy's randomly on, which one you watch?
It doesn't mean that I don't like that movie. I didn't say I didn't like the Waterboy, but between absolutely not.
This is not the Waterboy against Denzel. This is the Waterboy against Remember the Titans. I think as far as watchability, just making you happy. A little humor. I lean towards comedies and stuff, and some of the best takedowns out of any wrestling movie. I gotta go Waterboy. Although I gotta say, if it was purely on like script and acting, it would absolutely be Remember the Titans.
That's what I'm going with. Again, I've seen the Waterboy numerous amount of times. I even let it slide with the ignorant stereotypes of the long drawn out accents of the people in the bayou. My God.
Yeah.
But anyway,
my favorite line is "We'll pay another day."
Entertainment wise, for me, it's the Waterboy. Remember the Titans was just it was so much drama, and you cry and all that stuff. I don't want all that. I just give me that.
No, I'm going with Remember the Titans because that movie kind of grabbed the anger side of me and said, we understand. We embrace you and your anger.
You know what? You've got You've got to really manage your anger, Mac. I'm just saying.
Oh, can they
This is
say?
why we don't let you watch Rosewood.
Can they say you can ask James? I am so much better now than I used to be.
So scary.
So
So,
remind me to
James,
tell you
you're the
about the time
tiebreaker.
we took him to see I Am Not Your Negro and how we had to hug him afterwards.
Oh, my.
Don't take him to nothing like that. But James, you're the tiebreaker. So
Yep.
Oh gosh.
choose wisely.
You know James is gonna go with Remember the Titans because that's just how he is.
Because it's a real football movie.
I know,
I
right?
mean,
Because he's one of
yeah,
those.
good name.
He's one of those
Choose
purists.
wisely. Choose wisely, James.
Is that Thor's hammer?
No,
It is.
that's the Thunder God's mallet. Like it's close.
I'm going with Remember
we
the
know.
Titans.
Go ahead and put it in.
I like both movies, but I got to give the nod to Remember the Titans over Waterboy. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
All right. So do I even need to say that we're going to debate love and basketball over Space Jam?
No, Space Jam for the win.
Are you
Space Jam.
crazy?
Space Jam for the win.
What the hell
That's
is
three.
wrong with you people?
That's
You
3.
better type Space Jam in there. I know that.
Space Jam.
I'm gonna go with love and basketball.
Thank you, Qiana.
Yeah. I'm
It's
gonna
still
go
3-2.
In conclusion, Space
In
Jam
conclusion.
3-2.
Space Jam wins though.
In
3-2.
conclusion, 4-3. I carry 2 votes.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
and
Oh,
then
wait, so now are you embracing Harold as an actual thing?
You shut your face. Again, this is when the populace doesn't know what's good for them, so I have to make an executive decision.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
You
not.
better
We're not
leave
doing
Space
this
Jam.
today. You
better
are
leave
not.
Space
Look,
Jam
we're
up
gonna
there.
start calling you Trump.
the voices have been heard. The votes are in.
What kind of Republican shit is this? That you just gonna change it because you know, like you try to overthrow, you try to
Right.
storm the Capitol. This is a democratic situation. You are messing with it.
This democracy sucks. It's bogus.
You can't change the rules in the middle of what.
Yes, I
You
can.
can go to Canada.
No, you
You
can't.
can go to
That's
Canada.
not how it works.
God,
That's not how it works.
They go to
You can go to Canada.
James
right.
is gonna start yelling, "Make sports great again!" Make sports great again.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh, God.
Oh gosh. Okay. Above the rim versus white men can't jump.
Above the rim.
I'm gonna go with above the rim.
I'm gonna do above the rim.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm gonna do white men. White men can't jump.
Yeah,
Girl,
finish
wait.
it out.
Can they say?
Wait a minute.
I'm
Don't
glad
say
you
shit
put
like that.
can't jump.
So wait, while we're on the subject of white men can't jump, has anybody seen
No.
the remake on Hulu?
No,
No.
no,
Really?
no.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
I'm
saw it.
gonna say this in all seriousness. Actually watch it. It's really a good movie.
No. Some
Trust me.
things should be left alone.
Love and basketball, girl. No, you late. Too late.
Oh my gosh. But no, seriously. I'm not saying this just because like it's actually a good film. Like don't hate it because they made a remake. It's a different story.
Also, don't hate it because it's the first movie was dumb. Like,
Well,
The
I
first
like
movie
I
was
like
dumb.
the
I
remake.
mean, I like
I
White
like
Men
the
Can't
remake.
Jump.
It was good.
I was entertained.
I liked it. One of my favorite lines ever came out of White Man Can't Jump when Wesley Snipes said, "Just because you put a cat in the oven, that don't make it a biscuit." And I say that all the time to myself because nobody remembers. So I liked the movie,
Oh,
but the movie was dumb. It was one of the things you couldn't. I thought you couldn't do again. So I'm interested because the climate has changed, and so I was interested to see how they're going to pull that off. When even the phrase "white man can't jump" like triggers a whole state retaliation, you know. So
Mhm. All right. Major League versus the Sandlot.
Major League.
Oh, you're killing me, Smalls, but I'm gonna have to
You're
go
killing
with
me,
Major
Smalls.
League.
You're killing me. Yes.
I love the Sandlot.
Yeah.
But Major League, that was a good movie.
Indeed it was. Joy,
Sandlot.
Was that the one with Wild Thing? Was that who
Wild
started
Thing?
Major
Yes.
League? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's yes.
Wild Thing was Major League.
Mm-hmm.
I said Sandlot is what I said.
I heard you. You still outvoted.
Girl, we
okay.
We respect your decision.
Well, you know what? I'm getting a lot of like in and out, so I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. All right, and the next matchup is 42 versus A League of Their Own.
42.
42.
Wow, you felt I can hear the hurt in your voice, Qiana. Why?
Well, I mean, A League of Their Own came out like what in the 90s, and at that time, I'm not gonna lie, it was refreshing to see and learn about that story. I had no idea that league even existed, and what those women did and how they were really trailblazers. But the late great Chadwick, he played that role just in such a phenomenal way, like he always does. So I'm gonna go with 42.
All right, 42 it is.
A League of Their Own.
Candace, you ain't gonna win this one either. Good try, though.
I mean,
I almost changed my vote to A League of Their Own. Like,
my question is, just because, I mean, does that take my black card because I like A League of Their Own over 42?
No, but
I thought that movie was great.
I don't appreciate how you came in here like the United States and tried to pit women against black people. Like, why you didn't put them somewhere else? Why wasn't it A League of Their Own versus A Sandlot? You know, or something like that.
This is how the votes played. These are ranked based on the votes they got.
That it's a conspiracy.
He's dodging and dipping like little.
I'm not dodging and dipping. Don't be upset with me. 42 and League of Their Own actually got the same amount of votes.
Interesting. Okay.
This is the 2-3 matchup. What do you want me to do? I mean,
well, here's the thing too. Again, because I hear all of us saying it. It's not that you don't like the movie, but I mean, go with what you really feel like is something you watched over and over again and you just love the movie. That's how I look at it.
That's how Space Jam got in here, because I do not watch Love and Basketball. It aggravated the shit out of me.
I want to play.
I don't like Love Jones neither.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yes, Joy, embrace the hate.
Jeez.
Joy's not the only person I know who didn't like Love Jones, though.
I know.
I hate
Love Jones is
words to this
stupid.
day.
I'm sorry. Love Jones is quite possibly one of the dumbest love stories I've ever seen in my life.
I hate spoken word to this day.
Dang,
not because
Joy.
of spoken word, just because the actors were stupid.
That to my baby.
No, it made me hate spoken word. Like, I associate spoken word with that movie, which I don't like. And then the last minute, I am tasting love. You know, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere.
She did. It really made me dislike Bill Bellamy for a while because he was just a player hater. But it was humor. Oh my God.
It really made me love Lisa Nicole Carson.
She was cool.
Well,
the soundtrack is banging. I'll rock the soundtrack today.
Sorry, we got off.
My bad.
Anyway, Cool Runnings versus Dodgeball.
Oh, I gotta go with Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Cool Runnings. How can you not like Cool Runnings? That was such a funny
we like
movie.
it. But which one?
You know what I think
love?
it is? I think our personalities are too similar. So
I love both of them, but Cool. I mean, it must be the nostalgia of me, like in my younger years.
It was a good movie, and I remember being inspired by it, and I thought it was great, and I loved the story. Yep. But Dodgeball, just the ridiculous slapstick violence.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
I just didn't know what the hell I was getting ready to watch when I watched Dodgeball. So I was like, somebody should have told me not to eat or drink anything. Spitting stuff everywhere. I'm like, what? The heck? Listen, I'm just telling y'all, anytime you could just slide Jason Bateman into a movie who I think is a comedic genius.
Yes.
I'm sold.
I must agree.
Was above and beyond.
Yeah, he was hilarious in commentating at the end of the movie. Oh my gosh. Pound Town population you, bro.
All right. What about the last one?
Last matchup is the Mighty Ducks versus Creed.
Creed.
I'm going with Creed.
Uh-oh.
I love me a good sexy black man boxing and all, but I gotta go with the Mighty Ducks.
Joy.
I knew it. As soon as she said I love me a good chocolate box, and I was like, she about to pick the Mighty Ducks. Watch.
That's because I mean, it was such a great, like the story was great, just at the end you just think of quack, 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 quack. Like, come on now, who doesn't love like a good hometown movie? Like,
I love it. I mean, I love the movie, but Creed also, I was like, okay, I want to see where we're going with this. And those 3 films to me are they just did such a good job to follow along with the Rocky Balboa storyline. And Michael B. Jordan is fine. Okay, I'm done.
It's interesting you say that.
I mean, yes, now he's fine.
When James and I were talking about it, we were debating whether or not Creed was a part of the Rocky franchise.
That is, yeah, I've heard that debate as well. So I don't know. I feel like
it's definitely in the Rocky universe because Rocky's in the first one,
right?
And the second one, and the second one.
Creed.
And it follows the same montage of I'm not good enough. Let me go drag a tire around for about 20 minutes, and then I can beat whoever I'm trying to beat. Like that's the Rocky thing, Let me chase the chicken in the backyard, whatever that is.
If there's no,
but
Rocky,
I'm going to go for Creed as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. True. What I liked about it was the examination of him as a human, which one of the reasons the original Rocky was so good was that you had this other stuff going on in his life aside from him trying to be a boxer. And I felt the same thing from that first Creed movie. But I will say the trilogy of Creed is way better than the first 3 Rocky movies as a collection.
Definitely.
I agree.
All right.
So okay.
Here we are with our Elite 8.
How you gonna put Jamie Foxx against Denzel? What?
I mean, y'all voted.
I don't want to go first on this, but I will.
Any given Sunday. Any given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday is my favorite football movie.
Wow.
We'll let you go first on the rest of them. You got the first dibs.
All right, so that's 3 for Any Given Sunday. I ain't going to argue.
Yep, Candaysee calls hers out first. Candaysee, I'm sorry.
All right, Any Given Sunday is the football rep. Now, what is your representative for basketball? Space Jam or Above the Rim?
Are we still letting Candaysee go first?
Y'all already know. Y'all already know my vote because I'm just not a big fan. I just am not a big fan of Above the Rim. So, Space Jam it is.
That's fine.
Okay, now I want to take your black card.
It's okay. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of like those type of movies. Like I'm not a big fan of that. I'm just not.
I'm going with Space Jam as well because honestly, I don't think I ever saw Above the Rim.
Oh Lord!
I got the soundtrack though. Soundtrack's fire.
I was gonna say that the soundtrack is good. Like I heard the soundtrack before I saw the movie. But I'm going with Above the Rim. I actually enjoyed that film.
Furious.
Above the Rim.
All right, Above the Rim it is. Oh yeah, I was going for Above the Rim. You absolutely right. I was picking Above the Rim. What? What's the shot?
Are you flabbergasted?
I'm not flabbergasted because he said he was taking my black card just because I don't subscribe to the drug dealing movie. I don't subscribe to it.
It's not a drug dealing movie.
She's tired of seeing our people be oppressed in these movies. Let's go somewhere where Michael Jordan is a superhero.
That's right. Come on now.
Oh my gosh. I can't stand y'all. All right, baseball. We got Major League versus 42.
42. Oh, sorry, Candaysee. I'm sorry.
I don't really know what to pick because I didn't pick any of these in this game. As a matter of fact, I picked Moneyball because I'm watching it on TV right now.
You know what? That is a good pick.
That's a
Can
good
we have
movie.
a dark horse? Can I dark horse Moneyball? I forgot that was then I forgot it was a baseball movie. Like that is kind of the point. If you don't think of it as a baseball movie, but just similar to Love and Basketball, a movie about math and back of the house stuff that involved baseball. Because I felt like Moneyball could have been about basketball or football or any sports for corporations. But it's a good movie.
Yeah. You know what? If Moneyball had got more than one vote, maybe it would have made this list. But no, Moneyball is not an option.
You know what? You should have done your electoral college stuff at the beginning. The better movies for people to have to choose from.
Oh my gosh. So what are we going with here? Major League 42.
I'm gonna go with 42.
I'm gonna do 42.
Right. 42 wins. 42 is baseball rep. And now representative for other sports films, Dodgeball versus Creed.
That's ridiculous.
Bruh.
This is ridiculous.
You should just go ahead and write it in.
To be affiliated with this movie.
I'm going with sexy man for the win. Sexy man over Will Ferrell. Sexy man over Will Ferrell.
Definitely. What was the name of that movie? I want a dark horse, another movie.
Oh my
It was the ice skating movie.
Oh,
Blades of Glory.
No. Before that, it was about a guy and a girl, and they fell in love while they were ice skating together. He used
The
to be a
Cutting
hockey player.
Edge.
The Cutting Edge, yes.
Is that
Cutting
the
Edge.
name of it?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's where you get
that's the name of it.
That's where you get that from.
Yeah, because
Cutting
it was
Edge
the young lady was a figure skater, and the guy was a washed up hockey player.
Oh, sure is.
It was a great movie. I liked it a lot, and it was a love story, but it involved the
Save
women.
the Last Dance.
And I may log off because there are little
I'm interested
TikToks.
in your rationale why Save the Last Dance would make it to the sports movies.
And here we are with our final four. Our final four.
Dance is a sport. You're right. You got to condition your body. Okay, James.
Any Given Sunday versus Above the Rim, and 42 versus Creed. I know it hurts, doesn't it? But before we pick our final four, do you all want to know what other movies got nominated or at least received a vote for some of the other categories?
Sure.
All right. So, football films that also got a vote. The Replacements.
Yep.
That was me.
The Program.
Okay.
Varsity Blues.
That's a
Rudy. Wildcats. And Friday Night Lights.
Wildcats.
Wildcats, yes.
The debut of Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes,
wow.
yes. It's the Sport of Kings, better than Diamond Rings. That's why we
You
love
said
the
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights was.
I love that movie, but I actually enjoyed the TV show more.
And I hear that a lot. People say they love the TV show more than they did the movie.
Excellent. It's excellent.
All right. Basketball films also receiving votes. The Air Up There. Coach
That
Carter.
was me.
Uncut Gems. The Sixth Man.
See that? Okay.
The Fish.
Is Joanna Man on there?
Yes, Joanna Man is on here. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Teen Wolf. Eddie. Blue Chips. Hustle. Sunset Park. Hurricane Season, and Semi-Pro.
I don't know some of those, but that's a long list of basketball movies.
Not Teen Wolf,
basketball
Lord Jesus.
was the most responded to post that I put up.
Wow.
Teen Wolf.
Teen
He played
Wolf.
basketball at the end of that game.
No,
he played
he played basketball throughout the entire
The whole
freaking movie.
movie.
The opening sequence in
Really?
Teen Wolf is a basketball game.
I remember
Played
that.
through the whole movie.
Yeah, you got a point. You got
Damn,
a
I would
point.
have never. I forgot all about.
I think I was
Teen
thinking
Wolf.
about a Thriller movie video.
Yeah, no sports in a thriller movie. Other baseball films receiving votes: Moneyball, Angels in the Outfield, Bingo Long and his Traveling All-Stars, The Natural, Bull Durham, Bad News Bears,
Bull Durham,
Rookie of the Year, and Field of Dreams.
Bull Durham is a good one.
Bull Durham, very good.
And other random sports films receiving a vote: Bend It Like Beckham.
That was me.
Gran Turismo, which was me. Best of the Best, Rocky, Caddyshack, and Happy Gilmore.
Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore. We could have done a golf series. There's enough.
Is there?
See, I said Happy Gilmore, but I honestly wasn't sure if that qualified as a golf movie.
It is a golf movie. I mean, it's a comedy and it's a golf movie.
Yeah.
And still better than The Waterboy.
Oh.
You shut your face. James is the devil.
He's the devil.
See, I changed my name to Mrs. Boucher down here. Like,
Mama says alligators are ornery because they ain't happy.
I can't stand it, Jesus. I can't.
All right.
All right.
So, Any Given Sunday versus Above the Rim.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
All right, ladies.
Above the Rim.
It's because you're so angry all the time.
Right?
I am not.
Oh my gosh. All right, and now 42 versus Creed.
Damn it.
I know, right?
I'm gonna go with Creed.
It's Black Panther versus Killmonger all over again.
Oh my God, it is.
Well, I'm gonna let Killmonger live this time. Damn it.
Right.
Go with Creed.
He getting revenge for you, baby. Killmonger all day.
Yeah, I gotta go with Creed. I gotta go with
Creed.
Yeah, I gotta go with Creed.
Good Lord. All of y'all, Creed. And
Now
here we
it's
are.
these
We're
two.
down to 2 movies. Last 2. This is it.
Above
Trying
the
to think
Rim.
about all the technical.
Someone said best of the best. Yes.
Like the acting, the atmosphere, the editing, the music, the casting. I gotta think about all of that now.
Above the Rim.
What?
Above the Rim is not one of your choices, sir. It's either Any Given Sunday or it's Creed.
Oh my God.
This is where we are.
It should be above the Rim.
I'm torn.
Get over it, Mac.
He's not getting over Above the Rim. He really
Jeez.
isn't.
Nope.
Which
I love
is
that movie.
funny that he's not getting over Above the Rim because he caved up hard for Space Jam over Glory Road.
I did. But to me, Above the Rim is better than both.
Okay.
Really?
It's in my top 5 all-time favorite movies.
He said it, not me.
I'm not ashamed to admit that.
I mean,
I
no,
love
it
that
just
movie.
explains why you was going so hard for it. That's fine. This is
hard.
You know what this is like for me? This is like all those arguments about who's the GOAT in like basketball or whatever. Like, can you really compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan because they had different eras? And these movies came out 30 years apart.
Right.
Roughly, yeah. Yeah.
And so I
agree with you because had Any Given Sunday come out a little bit more recently, I think it would have been a completely different movie. I'm torn. I don't want to vote.
Can we have Any Given Creed? Or Creed Given Sunday?
Oh, ladies and gent,
Let's make it a tie.
The name in this winner spot, a tie. This is not going to be a tie. This 5 of us voting.
Just say Any Given Creed, just like she said. Put that in the winner box.
Not Any Given Creed.
Any Given Creed.
Yes. Any Given Creed.
No, that sounds like a failed album by Creed.
Look at this forward.
And I love Creed. It's one of my favorite groups.
Oh man, I gotta go with Creed.
All right, Joy says Creed. Candaysee. You got to take yourself off mute at some point and say something. Your screen ain't frozen.
I'm thinking because any given Sunday, right? When you think about it, like I'm thinking about, okay, it came out, I was in college, right? And you know, you got the soundtrack was amazing too, right? But then you have Creed and find Michael B. Jordan doing all the things, and the music is good too. And as a matter of fact, the guy who did the music, he just won another Oscar for Oppenheimer, I think it is. Was it Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer, whoever he did. Oh no, yeah, one of those.
No one's gonna bite your head off for your choice.
Yeah, you vote for what you want.
Vote your heart.
This is so hard. You know what? I'm gonna go with Any Given Sunday.
Let him use you.
Any Given Sunday, 1-1. Qiana.
I am going to go with Any Given Sunday. Feel like Oliver Stone did an excellent job. Again, the rawness and the realness of all the behind the scenes of the game. And Trick Daddy had a song on the soundtrack. Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing? Hell no, ho. You know they polo. There you go.
Because Trick loved the kids. Furious.
Above the Rim.
Sir.
Above the Rim of Creed's Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
All right. I guess there's no reason to vote then. Any Given Sunday.
But what would you have voted for?
What's your vote?
Ooh, my vote probably would have been a Creed. I'm not gonna lie. I would have taken Creed over it. And not the overall story, because it got back to the heart of what the first, like Joy said earlier, the first Rocky film was. Any Given Sunday for me, and this is probably because I'm just like obsessed with football. So a lot of what was in Any Given Sunday, as far as, you know, I know some people say they were shocked by, does that stuff happen in football? It's like, yeah, all the stuff that they did off the field, that stuff happens, still happens, you know. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe players in it. Like, yeah, they do this. Like, I know you're shocked. I'm not. Like, the wow factor. Was it good cinematography as far as like the most realistic football film up to that point? Yes, because they literally made those actors, and they actually had actual football players play the parts of those teams.
Yeah,
they ran those plays. Those are actual plays. There wasn't just like, all right, we're going to choreograph this thing here. We're going to No, these were actual plays they drew up to run on offense and defense in the film. So the nuance in that was revolutionary, because it's literally the only film to date that has done something like that. So
in Creed's defense, Michael Jordan did get knocked the fuck out a couple times.
He did.
Filming. He took the punches. But that also goes back to what we were saying about the parallels between those two movies being as realistic and raw without over exaggerating it and without any CGI, really, that they show you what it's like to be in that sport. So,
and that's
I
where
respect
Rocky,
y'all for Any Given Sunday. You know, I can rock with that. I voted for Creed it's because it's a newer movie, not that it's really any better. So
right. But and that's where the Rocky franchise gets away from it after the first film, because it does get a little caught up in the whole action genre. So let's make the fights as jaw-dropping as possible. By the time you get to Rocky versus Drago, it's literally a montage of headshots. And in real life, one or both of them would be dead by like the fifth shot.
Yeah.
But There's a 2-minute montage of him and Drago just punching each other straight in the head, unblocked. And I'm like, this ain't boxing anymore. And Creed got back to that. Creed got back to, we're going to bring the realism of boxing back into this genre of movie. And I appreciated that.
I got to say, even though it wasn't the Creed that was being voted on, the third one, when they started doing that
anime like influence,
quieting out the rest, and the animation and it was so good. Like you really felt like you were in their helmet, in their head with them. That was awesome. It was really awesome.
So there we are. There's your winner. Any given Sunday wins our bracket.
This was a great idea, James. I if anything else, I just love the camaraderie, the conversations and the arguments.
And that's why I wanted to
I just love to hear y'all point of view. So this is interesting. Again, this is a safe space.
Is it though?
Judgment.
Is it really?
I'm still judging Furious of Space Jam over Glory Road.
You're gonna have to get over that, sir.
Well, you carry on in your judgment.
It's still a safe space.
I mean, it's a safe space. I'm still judging him. I mean, he still wants above the rim in this final.
You damn right I do.
Oh gosh. All right.
That was fun. We should do something like that again.
We shall. We shall. Were there any movies that I mentioned that kind of that didn't make our tournament bracket that either caught your eye, that you're thinking about, probably checking out, something you haven't seen that you probably were curious about once upon a time? Or is there anything that wasn't mentioned at all, even as far as votes or the bracket that
a movie that I heard was good and I never saw was baseball movie The Fan. I heard that was a good movie.
Oh, that's a Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes film. Yeah, well, oh gosh, what's the
Al Pacino?
Was it Al Pacino?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. I'm sorry.
De Niro. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he's basically trying to make Wesley Snipes' character hit a home run. Yeah. Because he kidnapped somebody close to him or something like that.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie, so I knew it was good, but that does sound pretty decent. Yeah.
That's the plot of the film, from what I remember. Yeah. I'm surprised that one didn't get any votes. I will admit, I have never seen Cool Runnings, and I have the Disney Plus app. I will probably watch it while I'm working tomorrow.
Okay,
you can watch it while you're working. You don't need to really pay attention.
Cool Runnings is definitely worth watching.
And then maybe you'll change your vote.
No, I mean, because I know the story of Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled team. I get it. It just didn't grab me then. Kind of like The Air Up There is another Disney film, but when The Air Up There, when I saw the trailers for it, now this is a Disney movie. This looks like a caricature, like y'all disrespecting black folk in basketball. Like that's what it looked like as far as their PR campaign for it. So I'm like,
this is why they won't give us no black Disney characters, because we're gonna be mad no matter what they do. We're gonna feel disrespected. They're gonna draw too light, too dark, Disney film. Too big, too small. It'll be a mess.
Qiana, anything that didn't make the list or that I mentioned earlier that caught your attention?
It's just too many movies. I feel like it's something on the tip of my tongue, and I'm gonna have to save it for next time. I'll be like, I remember
Rudy. I forgot about that one.
Rudy.
Well, you said that was one of the ones.
Rudy?
Yeah, he did. I was just, when he asked, was any ones I thought that grabbed my attention. Rudy. I don't think it deserved to beat anything that ultimately won. I don't think it would have won anyway, but I do understand that movie holds a very specific, like, emotional spot for a lot of people. Not me, but
and not the people who were actually on that Notre Dame football team.
I didn't. So James, I didn't know that. I saw Rudy, and I thought Rudy was pretty good. But when you told me that kind of put Rudy in a whole different light for me.
Wait, what happened? What is the scandal around Rudy?
All right, so it's not necessarily a scandal, but Rudy, the guy Rudy, actually promoted this film or whatever. I don't know if he directed the movie, but Rudy himself actually did write this movie about him being on the trying to make that football team. Mike Golick, former football player, had a morning show on ESPN with Mike Greenberg called Mike and Mike.
Oh, Mike and Mike. Mm-hmm.
So the movie comes out. Well, it's years after the movie comes out. They're talking about the movie, and Mike Golick basically went ballistic about how much he despises that film and how much of a crock of crap it was. His words, not mine. And he's not the only one. Other players who were on that team come out and say the same thing, that the football part of that movie, absolutely false. None of it accurate or whatever. And Rudy has come under fire for that. You know, after the film release, that none of the football stuff that happened actually happened. They was like the stuff in his life, as far as, you know, his upbringing and everything like that, and him being in school at Notre Dame and all that, that may very well be true. But all the events that take place on and around the football team, all false, because there's a scene at the end, because he's a walk-on, and they're going into the final game of the season, and the scene is all the players walk in and lay their jersey on the coach's desk saying, Rudy can have my spot. Rudy can have my spot. Rudy can have my spot.
None of that happened.
And none of that happened. And that's where the players who were on the team when that, because the movie was basically made because as a walk-on, he got a sack on the final play of the game of their final season of the regular season. And that basically put him in for like the final series. Like, well, he's never going to play. He's going to graduate. We'll throw him out there. What they do with a lot of walk-ons at most colleges. And he just happened to make a sack on the final play of the game. And that's basically the crux of the movie, how we get to that point. And that actually did happen. He was thrown out there at the end because it was news at the time when it actually happened. But the players who were on the team were like,
I wouldn't give up my spot for that fool. Yeah.
Right. They're like, that didn't
So
happen.
no one said Rudy. That didn't happen either.
The crowd chanting his name, probably yes. Because when they realized he was a walk-on, that may have happened. I mean, because let's put it this way. There's actual recording of the game. If you dig up the game, that probably did happen. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. I'm not going to doubt that. But
I don't want to watch it now.
And one thing that I said was it wasn't a black player on that team that was going to give up their spot for Rudy.
Hell no.
No. Talk about he can play this.
First generation college kids, whole family gave up their whole life for them to go there. You're going to give up your spot? Boy, you better. I want all my money back.
So yeah,
I have a question.
Yes.
Is King Richard a tennis movie?
Oh, yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
and I'm surprised it wasn't mentioned. That's another movie I haven't seen.
I told you it was something just sitting there that I just could not.
That was
it.
It
Would have made it to the Final Four, I think.
It never even got a vote.
Really?
No.
And it would have been in the category with Creed. I don't know that it would have gotten Creed.
Yeah.
Upseated Creed, but
in fact,
yeah,
no tennis movie got a vote.
So I'll be the one to go ahead and bite the bullet because I don't mind being the one who I don't mind being a sacrifice for this one. What other good tennis movies are there?
I have no idea.
I mean, I know there are other tennis films, period. Good is relative.
Well, what are some of the other tennis films? Because King Richard is the only one I know.
The only one I can think of is what is it? California Suite. It's sort of like Richard Pryor, and like that's how old it is. And maybe Sidney Poitier, I forget. But like it was a black couple against a white couple on a tennis court, and they both played too hard and ended up hurt for the rest of the vacation. So yeah, that's the other tennis movie that I know.
The only other tennis movie I've seen is like a rom-com with Kristen Dunst called Wimbledon. That's a romantic comedy movie. So
right.
No.
Oh wow. So I just did a quick look up on California Suite. Jane Fonda, Alan Alda, Michael Caine, Walter Matthau, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby. Like this movie has an amazing cast.
The movie was fire. Yeah.
What was the name of the movie?
California Suite.
I've never heard
California Dream.
More you know.
Sweet.
SUITE. California Suite.
Oh, California
I posted the IMDb link in our chat.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. But yeah, but I think the movies that I saw that got like one vote, and I know this was someone on my list actually trolling, but these are films that I have not seen since I was a kid because my parents were watching, but like Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, like Yes, I actually watched these movies, but I was like
Never heard
5
of
or
it.
6 when I watched them. I couldn't even tell you what they were
Does The
about.
Running Man count as a sports movie?
Ooh, combat sport. Yeah.
Oh,
I would have put it in here. I really would have put it in here. I mean, I'm surprised none of the rollerball films, got mentioned.
isn't
one
there
has-
a movie called Tag?
Yes.
Yes. There is a movie called Tag.
That would have made it pretty far. Tag is a
That
good
actually
movie.
was a good move. I liked.
I haven't seen it, but to have a movie around a group of guys who have a 30-year game of tag going on is ridiculous. And the
I
type of
think
time
they were involved like on the production side and everything behind the scenes and all of that. But yeah, it's the truth. They've been doing that for years. I'm like, wow. But the fact that is a competitive sport, I think we talked about this before. I don't know if y'all watched that on ESPN. It is the most nerve-wracking.
Oh,
So I was at a bar one night, and I don't remember which ESPN they had playing, but they were showing the competitive tag, and that shit is intense.
Somebody's gonna bust their head open on something any minute now.
Yeah, the obstacles were amazing.
Get your parkour up.
I was about to say it's parkour is with very little contact. Yeah.
No, thank you. I'll stick to cornhole.
Cornhole is another sport. Too bad there are no movies about it.
Right?
I'm kind of surprised Caddyshack didn't get more love.
No one mentioned. Well, one person mentioned it. That was it. One person.
And I completely forgot about it. But it's funny because if I'm flipping channels and I see Caddyshack, I stop and watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it for a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my favorite part, I mean, that's what put Kenny Loggins on the map for me was the Gopher song at the end. I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me. This was the animation back then.
And the dancing caddy
I still do the Gopher dance from time to time. It makes me happy.
It brings you joy.
It brings me joy.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna keep dying on this hill. Gran Turismo is on Netflix, so I got some time. Please check it out. It is awesome. It is easily one of my, as far as sports films, it's easily one of my top 5.
Okay,
hell, maybe even top 3.
It's that good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I will die on the hill caping up for Gran Turismo because just the concept of the film and the fact that even at the time that they were doing it just seemed nuts and bonkers that you're going to take young people who basically play a game for 6 to 8 hours a day and train them to drive cars that move at 250 plus. And you actually turn one of them to a champion.
But it makes sense, but only for that, because the driving simulator is the closest thing to the real world. You can't do like a boxing simulator or a house building. Even I know they talk about a couple of movies that said somebody was doing flight simulators on PlayStation and learn how to land a plane. But the controls are not the same, not at all.
No, they're not. There's definitely way more controls. An actual flight simulator is more akin to that, but yeah.
Right. But in a car, first off, you can get the wheel and pretend to drive with any
and the pedals. Yeah.
And the pedals. So you can get the feel, and it's the exact same track. And that's what it wouldn't have worked with Grand Prix or pole position or something like that, where the tracks are made up and they practice on that. They're practicing on the exact track down to the curve that they're going to be on. So once you're in that cockpit or whatever, your muscle memory kicks in. And so it wasn't like he was brand new. He had been training for a few years, just mentally, not on the actual track. Yeah. So,
just not
which
physically.
is the argument that they made for the movie. But
and that's what makes it so compelling. So I would definitely say
you absolutely cannot do this with boxing. Can you imagine playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out and then call myself like, yo, I beat you yesterday. Let's go.
Nope.
So no.
What are you gonna say, Furious?
No, it was just thinking about that. It made me think. Do you remember the America's Army game that the actual U.S. Army funded?
Yep, it was a recruiting tool.
It was a
to see who
recruiting
can
tool.
shoot. Yeah, what you did under pressure. It was a simulator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me. Who was that movie? The Last Starfighter from the 80s?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He actually set the high score and then they just beamed him up right there on the spot. Congratulations. You've been, wait, what the fuck am I? You've been recruited. Wait, what? From an arcade game? Oh, man. All right. Any other final thoughts before we get out of here for the evening? Joy.
No, I got nothing.
Candaysee. Qiana.
Does it have to be about what we just discussed?
No,
I just found something very interesting. So I don't know if you guys have seen the commercial, but AT&T, they've developed a helmet for football players who are deaf or hard. Let me send y'all the link because I was in DC at the end of last year and Gallaudet University, my line sister was telling me that's the only deaf university in the country. And so AT&T worked with them, developed the helmet. So it allows the coach to call a play on a tablet from the sideline. And then that shows up visually like on a small screen inside the quarterback's helmet. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I hear the advertisement every time I'm listening to my Pandora list. Okay. Yeah, and growing up in DC, I spent a little bit of time on Gallaudet's campus.
I've never heard of that school before, but I just found this to be fascinating because I can't even imagine with it being such a high contact sport, and then you're also like trying to control and work with your senses, what that must feel like. But I saw like the blueprint and everything of the helmet. And I mean, it's just amazing. You know, technology can be a blessing and a curse, but kudos to AT&T for taking the steps to do that innovative stuff.
Right? That's pretty damn
cool. It is freaking cool.
That is super cool. I'm glad you brought that up.
Furious?
No. Just, go watch more sports movies. Maybe if you haven't seen some of the ones on this list, go watch them.
All right. And with that, I will sign us off for the evening. Say thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next month. The March Madness tournament will probably be over by then. Well, who knows what stories we'll have coming out. And by March Madness, I mean the women's tournament because,
we don't care about the men.
Not really.
Yeah, no. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands. Without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand,
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then and of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom, clapped back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place, multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation, colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals, school will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf, if we won't tell it we will. We will.